You receive 10 compliments and 1 criticism, and guess which one keeps you awake at night? That single negative comment plays on repeat, while the 10 positive ones fade into background noise. You accomplish 8 things on your to-do list, but you can only focus on the 2 you didn't finish. You have a great day, but one awkward moment in a conversation somehow becomes the thing that defines the entire experience. Sound familiar? You're not losing your mind, and you're not fundamentally pessimistic. What you're experiencing is your brain's built-in negativity bias, a mental filter that makes negative experiences stick like Velcro, while positive ones slip off like Teflon. You've probably tried to fix this with positive thinking. Focus on the good stuff. Practice gratitude. Just choose happiness. But these feel like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. You can force yourself to think positive thoughts for a while, but your brain keeps pulling you back to that default setting of noticing what's wrong, what's missing, what could go wrong. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain has a built-in security system. It's biologically wired to prioritize threats over opportunities. It's problems over possibilities. What's broken over what's working. This isn't a character flaw, it's a survival feature that kept your ancestors alive, but is now keeping you miserable. But here's the revolutionary insight that changes everything. Your brain's negativity bias isn't permanent. Neuroscience has discovered that you can literally rewire your neural pathways to naturally notice and absorb positive experiences. It's not through forced positivity or pretending problems don't exist, but by understanding how your brain actually processes happiness and then upgrading its operating system. Your brain isn't broken, it's just running on very old software. You can update it. Let me introduce you to your brain's ancient survival system, a network that neuroscientist Rick Hansen calls the Stone Age brain in a modern world. Your negativity bias isn't just a mental habit. It's hardwired into your neural architecture through millions of years of evolution. Here's how it works. Your brain has 2 distinct memory systems for processing experiences. Negative experiences get stored in your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, within milliseconds, creating vivid, emotionally charged memories that are designed to keep you safe. Meanwhile, positive experiences get processed through your hippocampus, which is slower, more deliberate, and requires conscious attention to form lasting memories. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a museum where the threat detection department has unlimited funding and staff, while the joy appreciation department is chronically understaffed and under-resourced. Bad news gets priority processing, immediate storage, and permanent display. Good news has to fill out paperwork, wait in line, and often gets lost in the shuffle. This creates what psychologists call the negativity bias ratio. Research shows it takes about 5 positive experiences to psychologically balance out 1 negative experience. Your brain literally needs 5 times more positive input just to reach emotional equilibrium. No wonder happiness feels so hard to maintain. But here's where it gets more complex. Your negativity bias doesn't just affect what you remember, it shapes what you notice in the first place. Your brain has something called the Reticular Activating System, a network of neurons that filters the millions of pieces of information hitting your senses every second. Your RAS is like a bouncer at the club of your consciousness, deciding what gets in and what gets ignored. And guess what your RAS has been trained to prioritize? Problems, threats, mistakes, criticisms, anything that might require your attention for survival purposes. Meanwhile, moments of beauty, connection, accomplishment, joy often don't meet the threshold for conscious awareness. Because they don't trigger your brain's "pay attention now" alarm. This is why you can walk through a beautiful park, but only notice the 1 piece of litter. Why you can have a wonderful conversation, but fixate on the 1 moment you felt misunderstood. Why you can receive genuine praise, but dismiss it as just being nice while accepting criticism as objective truth. The cruel irony is that this system, designed to keep you safe, actually makes you miserable. When your brain is constantly scanning for problems, you live in a state of chronic low-level stress. Your nervous system stays in a defensive mode, making it harder to connect with others, harder to feel satisfied with your accomplishments, and harder to experience the natural joy that comes from simply being alive. But here's the hopeful truth. Your brain's negativity bias is strong. But it's not stronger than neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on your experiences and attention. Every time you consciously notice something positive, You're literally building new neural pathways that make it easier to notice positive things in the future. Here's the reframe that will change how you see your relationship with happiness. You're not bad at being happy, you're just untrained at it. Your brain has spent decades getting really good at one thing, keeping you safe by noticing problems. But nobody ever taught you how to get good at the other thing, absorbing the good experiences that are already happening around you. Think about it this way. If you wanted to get physically strong, you wouldn't just stop eating junk food, you'd also start lifting weights. If you wanted to learn a language, you wouldn't just avoid speaking English, you'd practice speaking the new language. But when it comes to happiness, most people think the solution is just to stop thinking negatively. It's only half the equation. The missing piece is what neuroscientists call experience-dependent neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rewires itself based on what you repeatedly pay attention to. If you spend most of your mental energy noticing problems, your brain builds more efficient problem detection networks. If you spend mental energy savoring positive experiences, your brain builds more efficient joy absorption networks. Let me tell you about Maria, a 29-year-old teacher who described herself as naturally pessimistic. She'd accomplished significant things, advanced degrees, meaningful relationships, travel experiences, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was always wrong or missing. Maria assumed this was just her personality until she realized something startling. She had trained her brain to dismiss positive experiences as quickly as possible. When students thanked her for her help, she'd think they're just being polite. When friends complimented her, she'd deflect with self-deprecating humor. When she accomplished something difficult, she'd immediately shift focus to the next challenge. Maria wasn't pessimistic by nature. She had simply developed incredibly efficient neural pathways for rejecting joy. Or consider James, who couldn't understand why he felt unfulfilled. Despite having what he called a good life, he had meaningful work, close relationships, and financial stability. But he felt like he was constantly chasing the next thing that would finally make him happy. James's brain had learned to treat positive experiences like items to check off a list, rather than moments to savor. His happiness was always conditional on future achievements rather than present experiences. The mainstream narrative tells you that some people are just naturally happier than others, that it's a personality trait you either have or don't have. But neuroscience reveals something different. Happiness is a skill that can be developed, and a neural network that can be strengthened. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending negative experiences don't matter. They do matter, and your brain's ability to detect problems is actually valuable. The goal isn't to eliminate your negativity bias, it's to balance it with an equally strong positivity absorption system. Your brain's default mode has been shaped by evolution, childhood experiences, cultural conditioning, and years of mental habits. But your default mode isn't your only mode. You can literally train your brain to become as good at noticing joy as it currently is at noticing problems. Now, let's talk about how to actually rewire your brain for happiness. These aren't positive thinking exercises. They're neuroplasticity techniques based on how your brain actually forms new neural pathways. Tool 1. The 20-second savoring practice. When something good happens, even something small, resist the urge to immediately move on to the next thing. Instead, pause for 20 seconds and really let the positive experience sink in. Notice how it feels in your body. What emotions are present, what thoughts arise. Really marinate in the goodness. Why this works. It takes about 12 to 20 seconds for a positive experience to transfer from short-term to long-term memory.
Ow.
Most positive experiences last only 2 to 3 seconds in our awareness before we move on. By consciously extending positive experiences, you're literally helping your brain build stronger neural networks around joy and satisfaction. Try this with everyday moments. The first sip of morning coffee, a genuine laugh with a friend, finishing a task, receiving a text from someone you care about. The key is to slow down time and really absorb the experience instead of rushing past it. Tool 2. The good facts. Inventory your reticular activating system filters reality based on what you've trained it to notice. You can retrain it by deliberately collecting evidence of what's working in your life. Each evening, write down 3 good facts from your day. Not just positive emotions, but actual evidence that good things are happening. These might be My body carried me through another day without me thinking about it. Someone held the door for me, solved a problem that seemed impossible yesterday. My friend reached out just to check in. The key is to focus on facts, not interpretations. Instead of "I had a good day," try 3 people smiled at me today. Do this for 2 weeks, and notice how your brain starts automatically collecting this type of evidence during the day. Tool 3. The gratitude specificity practice. Generic gratitude often feels hollow because your brain recognizes it as a mental exercise rather than a genuine experience. Instead, get laser specific about what you're grateful for and why it matters to you. Instead of "I'm grateful for my friends," try "I'm grateful that when I was stressed last Tuesday, Sarah didn't just offer advice. She sat with me and listened until I figured out what I needed to do. That kind of presence is rare, and it made me feel less alone." The more specific and personal you get, the more your brain treats it as a real experience rather than a thought exercise. This activates the same neural networks that would fire if you were actually experiencing the kindness again. Tool 4. The positive experience rehearsal. Your brain can't tell the difference between a vivid memory and a vivid imagination. You can use this to your advantage by mentally rehearsing positive future experiences with the same detail you'd use to remember past ones. Before a challenging situation, spend a few minutes imagining it going well. See yourself handling it with confidence. Notice how it feels in your body. Imagine the positive responses from others. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about giving your brain a template for success and training your RAS to notice opportunities for positive outcomes. Tool 5. The contrast method. When you notice yourself stuck in negativity, try this. Imagine your life without the thing you're taking for granted, then consciously appreciate having it. If you're frustrated with your job, imagine being unemployed. If you're annoyed with a friend, imagine not having that friendship. This isn't about settling for less. It's about recalibrating your baseline for what constitutes a good experience. When you remember that most of what you have was once something you hoped for, your brain can access genuine appreciation rather than forced gratitude. What to expect? These changes build momentum over time. Within days, you might notice yourself naturally pausing to enjoy small positive moments. Within weeks, you might find that good experiences feel more vivid and memorable. Within months, you might realize that your default mental state has shifted from what's wrong to what's working. Remember, you're not trying to become a different person. You're helping your brain remember how to absorb the goodness that's already there. You are not fundamentally broken or naturally pessimistic. You are not bad at happiness or destined to always struggle with negativity. Your brain is simply running on an outdated operating system that prioritizes survival over thriving. The beautiful truth is that the same neuroplasticity that created your negativity bias can create something entirely different. A brain that's as skilled at absorbing joy as it currently is at detecting problems. Every time you pause to savor a positive moment, every time you consciously appreciate something good in your life, every time you train your attention on what's working rather than what's wrong, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways toward greater happiness and life satisfaction. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist or forcing yourself to feel positive all the time. It's about giving your brain accurate information about reality, which includes not just the threats and challenges, but also the beauty, connection, accomplishment, and joy that are constantly available to you. Your negativity bias served its evolutionary purpose by keeping your ancestors alive. But now you can honor that protective function while also building its counterpart, a positivity absorption system that helps you truly thrive. The happiness you're seeking isn't somewhere else, waiting for perfect circumstances. It's already here, in the ordinary moments your brain has been trained to overlook. Now you know how to help it look again. What's one good thing happening in your life right now that you haven't fully appreciated yet?